Hello, my little loves. Welcome back to Bedtime with Mama. Tonight we are going to be reading The Lion King. As the sun rose over the African plain, the first rays of light fell on an astonishing sight. Herds of animals were thundering across the vast Pride lands. They were journeying towards Pride Rock to celebrate the birth of King Mufasa's son. King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi had invited the old wise baboon Rafiki to present their newborn cub to the animal kingdom. Rafiki ceremoniously marked the cub's forehead with colored dust and then lifted the infant high into the air for all to see. A reverent hush fell over the animals below as they bowed before Simba, the little lion cub that would one day become their next great king. Scar, King Mufasa's brother, did not attend the ceremony. Mufasa went to see him with Zazu, his major domo. "I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba," he said. "Is anything wrong?" "Was that today?" Scar said. "Oh, I feel simply awful. It must have slipped my mind." Zazu reminded Scar that as the king's brother, he should have been the first in line to congratulate the family. "I was the first in line until the little hairball was born," retorted Scar. "That hairball is my son and your future king," Mufasa growled at Scar as Scar walked away. "Don't turn your back on me, Scar," Mufasa commanded. "Oh no, Mufasa," Scar snarled. "Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me." Time passed and Simba grew into an active cub. One dawn, Mufasa led him to Pride Rock. "Everything the light touches is our kingdom. One day, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king." "This will all be mine?" Simba asked. "What about that shadowy place?" "That is beyond our borders," Mufasa replied. "You must never go there." "Everything exists together in a delicate balance," Mufasa added. "As king, you need to understand that balance and respect for all creatures, because we are all connected in the great circle of life." Just then, Zazu appeared, urgently warning the king that there was dangerous hyenas in the Pride lands. Simba begged his father to let him join, but Mufasa simply commanded Zazu to take Simba home as he sped off to protect the kingdom. Safely home, Simba saw Scar sunning on the rocky ledge. "Hey, Uncle Scar," Simba cried. "My dad just showed me the whole kingdom, and I'm gonna rule it all." Scar scowled, then slowly he began to smile. "Did he show you what's beyond that rise at the border?" "He said I can't go there," Simba answered. "He's absolutely right," Scar replied dramatically. "Only the bravest lions go there. An elephant graveyard is no place for a young prince. Promise me you'll never visit that dreadful place." Young Simba was immediately intrigued by that challenge and that the manipulative Scar had placed before him. Simba found his best friend Nala with her mother and Queen Sarabi. "I just heard about this great place. Can Nala and I go?" Simba asked Sarabi. "It's near the watering hole," he fibbed. "All right," said Sarabi, "as long as Zazu goes with." "Not Zazu," thought Simba. "He'll spoil everything." "We're going to an elephant graveyard," Simba whispered to Nala as they set off. Then he said to Zazu, "When I'm king, I'll do just as I please." "With that attitude, you'll be a pretty pathetic king," Zazu replied. Simba just laughed. I can't wait to be king, he shouted, racing away. He and Nala darted through the herds of animals until they left Zazu far behind. We've lost Zazu, Simba exclaimed. Now we can go look at that elephant graveyard. As he and Nala wandered, they tumbled down the hillside and landed with a thud beside a huge skull. They were in an elephant graveyard. It's really creepy, Nala said. Let's check it out, Simba said. But as soon as Zazu caught up with the adventurous cubs, they were way beyond the boundary of Pride Lands. He scowled, and we are in really, real danger. At that moment, 3 slobbering hyenas slunk towards them from inside the skull. They closed in on Simba and his friends. Terrified, the cubs ran for their lives. As they darted and stumbled across piles of old elephant bones, Nala suddenly slipped and fell. One of the hyenas lunged at her, but Simba scratched at his muzzle with his sharp claws. Then, with a deep roar, Mufasa appeared. He slammed the hyenas into the ground with his strong paws. Don't ever come near my son again, he growled at the 3 terrified bullies, and the 3 terrified bullies fled from the king's wrath. No one saw Scar lurking in the shadows. Mufasa told Zazu to take Nala home. Then he turned to Simba. I'm very disappointed in you, he said. I was just trying to be brave like you, Dad, Simba said sheepishly. Being brave does not mean you go looking for trouble, Mufasa explained gently. While they walked and played and talked in the grass, Mufasa directed Simba's attention up to the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars, Mufasa explained. So wherever and whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you, and so will I. Later that night, Scar paid the hyenas a visit. I practically gift-wrapped those cubs for you, and you couldn't even dispose of them, he said with a sneer. What are we supposed to do? Kill Mufasa? Precisely, answered Scar. Then he told them of his new plan. This time, Simba would not escape. Neither would Mufasa. The next day, Scar led Simba into a deep gorge. Wait here, he said. Your father has a surprise for you. Will I like the surprise, Uncle Scar? Simba, it's to die for, Scar proclaimed. Scar signaled the hyenas to scare a herd of wild wildebeest. They stampede down into the gorge straight towards Simba. Mufasa and Zazu had just noticed dust rising from the gorge when Scar appeared. Stampede! Scar shouted. Simba's down there! Hold on! Mufasa called to his son as he plunged into the gorge. Mufasa snatched Simba out of danger and carried him to safety through the thundering hooves. But just as he put Simba on a ledge, a wildebeest kicked Mufasa to the ground. Bruised and battered, Mufasa struggled to climb to safety. Scar leaned over to him. Brother, help me, Mufasa pleaded. Scar dug his claws into Mufasa's forelegs and pushed him close. Long live the king, Scar whispered, then let go. Mufasa fell and disappeared beneath the wildebeest's hooves. Simba hadn't seen Scar push Mufasa. He only saw his father fall. When the wildebeest were gone, Simba raced to Mufasa's side. Dad! Dad! Simba cried, nuzzling him. But his father lay motionless. The great king was dead. He tried to save me. It was an accident, Simba stammered when he saw his Uncle Scar. The king is dead. If it weren't for you, he would still be alive, Scar snarled. Run away, Simba. Run away and never return. Confused and heartbroken, Simba fled. On Scar's orders, the hyenas hungrily chased Simba to the edge of the plateau. Desperate to escape, Simba leaped into the thick patch of thorn bushes below. The hyenas were too cowardly to follow. If you ever come back here, we'll kill you, they shouted after him. At Pride Rock, Scar told the grieving lioness the news. It's with a heavy heart that I become your new king, he announced solemnly. Yet out of the ashes of this tragedy, we shall greet a new era of peace and prosperity in which lion and hyena come together. Rafiki and the lioness listened in disbelief. Simba stumbled across the hot, dry wasteland beneath a blazing sun. At last, the sad, exhausted cub could go no further, and he collapsed. Overhead, vultures circled, waiting. While Simba lay unconscious, a cheeky meerkat named Timon and a kind-hearted warthog named Pumbaa found him. They carried him to the waterhole. Where are you from? Timon asked, asking the shaky cub when he awoke. Who cares? Simba replied. I can't go back. I did something terrible. Is there anything that we can do? Pumbaa asked the forlorn cub. Not unless you can change the past, Simba answered. You gotta put the past behind you, Timon advised as he gathered lunch. This is the great life. No rules, no responsibilities, and no worries. Hakuna Matata. Timon and Pumbaa's happy-go-lucky attitude quickly cheered Simba. Soon he was frolicking through the jungle with them, his cares forgotten. He even learned to like the taste of bugs, which was like their main food. Days passed, and Simba grew into a strong young lion. But one night, as he and his friends stargazed, Simba remembered Mufasa's words. Someone once told me that the great kings of the past are up there, watching over us, Simba said. Wanting to be alone, Simba wandered off. As he sat gazing at the sky, his paws broke a bit of milkweed fluff. Caught in the night's breeze, it drifted away, until it reached Rafiki's tree. The old baboon plucked the stuff from the air and studied it. Simba, the old baboon exclaimed. It is time. Then he walked in search of the true Lion King. The next day, Simba was wandering through the jungle when he heard a loud squeal. Simba rushed towards the sound and saw a hungry young lioness attacking his friends. Simba pounced on the lioness, but she flipped him and pinned him to the ground. Suddenly, Simba recognized her. Nala, he said. It's me, Simba. Simba? Everyone thought you were dead, Nala exclaimed. But you're alive, and that means you're the king. King? Timon and Pumbaa were amazed. Nala tried to convince Simba to return to the Pride Lands. Scar let the hyenas take over, she told him. There's no food, no water. You're our only hope. I can't go back, Simba replied. What's happened to you? Nala asked. You're not the Simba I remember. Simba stalked away angrily. That night, as Simba brooded, alone beneath the stars, Rafiki appeared, humming a strange tune. Who are you? Simba asked. Well, I know who you are. You're Mufasa's boy. Suddenly, Mufasa's image appeared in the clouds. His voice seemed to fill Simba's mind and heart. You must take your place in the circle of life. Remember who you are. You are my son and the one true king. As the vision faded, Simba knew what he must do. The next morning, Rafiki told Timon, Pumbaa, and Nala that Simba had returned to the Pride Lands. On his journey, Simba was horrified by what he saw. The Pride Lands were bare and parched. Nothing grew, and bones lay everywhere. Soon, Nala caught up with Simba, and to his surprise, Timon and Pumbaa had come too. Meanwhile, at Pride Rock, Sarabi confronted Scar. "There's no food," Sarabi told him. "We must leave Pride Rock." But Scar refused to listen. "I am king, and I make the rules," he said. "If you were half the king that Mufasa was," Sarabi began. Furious, Scar lashed out at her, and she fell. At that moment, a deep roar startled Scar. He whirled around and saw an enormous lion. Scar's eyes widened with fear. "Mufasa? It can't be. You're dead. What do you want? Go away!" Scar's voice shook. But Sarabi recognized Simba. "You're alive," she said joyfully. "Step down, Scar," Simba commanded. "Step down or fight." "Tell the others, who's responsible for Mufasa's death?" Scar taunted as the two lions circled each other. "I am," Simba admitted. The lioness gasped. Scar lunged. Simba stepped back, losing his footing, and slipped off the cliff. As he clung to the edge, Scar leaned over him. "Now, this looks familiar," he said with a sneer. "Oh yes, I remember. This is the way your father looked just before he died," he smiled evilly. "I killed Mufasa." Outraged, Simba gathered his strength and leaped at Scar. The hyenas attacked, and Nala and the lioness charged, jaws snapping, claws slashing, and the hyenas and the lions battled. Suddenly, crack! Lightning struck the dry grassland. In seconds, huge flames roared around Pride Rock. Scar tried to sneak away, but Simba cornered him at the top of Pride Rock. "Run away, Scar," Simba said, repeating what Scar had told him long ago. "Run away and never return." But Scar lunged at Simba. With a powerful blow, Simba hurled Scar off the cliff into the hungry hyenas, snapping their jaws. As rain began to fall, drenching the flames, Simba stood atop of Pride Rock and roared triumphantly. Below, the Pride Lands echoed with the joyful cries of his subjects. The king had returned. Under Simba's wise rule, the Pride Lands flourished once again. Grass and trees grew, herds returned to graze, and the food was plentiful. And then one morning, as the sun rose over Pride Rock, Rafiki held Simba and Nala's newborn cub for all to see. The circle of life was complete once again. The end. Wasn't that such a great story? I think Timon and Pumbaa are my favorite. Who's your favorite character? Sweet dreams, my little loves. I'll see you tomorrow night.